Hello students, this is your instructor Abdul Rafi and we are discussing logarithms and exponentials chapter number 5 from WMA13, that is the Pearson Edexcel. So let me write it down. This is WMA13 paper 3 and the chapter number 5 exponentials and logarithms that we are discussing. So we have a January 2022 question, that is question number 8, which says a dose of antibiotics is given to a patient. So there is a dose of antibiotics that is given to a patient. The amount of the antibiotics x milligrams in the patient's bloodstream T hours after the dose was given is found to satisfy this equation. Log 10x is equals to 2.74 minus 0.079 t. Show that this equation can be written in the form of x is equals to this thing, where p and q are constants to be found, and you have to give the value of p and the value of q to two significant figures, and it's a 4-mark question, which means it will take a bit more time and you have to do it very carefully with getting the correct answer. So here we go, let's start. As always, as you have seen the previous questions as well, I have focused more on how to first write down the information. So we are going to say that x here stands for the milligrams, okay? X stands for the milligrams, okay, of the antibiotics, okay? X stands for the x milligrams, the amount of antibiotics in the patient's bloodstream. So milligrams and antibiotics, okay? Hope the spelling is correct. And t is basically, we have two variables, x and t. T is basically the number of hours, okay? So hope students understand and gets this, okay? So let's start working on this. We have x is equals to p q power of minus t. Very simple. As I said, that making this in the form of this is simple and easy, and it's better with less mistakes. So I'm going to do the same method again for students to understand. So here we go. It is going to be, sir, log 10 to the power, log base 10 power of x, and log 10 power of pq power minus t. That will be the first step, as always, as we have done in the previous questions as well, students. Then you would say, sir, that log 10 base of x is equals to log 10 power p plus log 10 power q minus t, okay? So that's how you write. You will have, because they are multiplying, so multiplication indicates that there will be a plus sign. Again, the indices rule, a power m plus multiply by a power n can be written as a m plus n, with the base of a m plus n. So hope students get this technique, and this is very important for further part as well, students. So hope everyone is following very carefully how this will happen, okay? Once you get this, you write down log 10x. As I said, the left hand side, you don't have to do much about this. Log 10p, and the power, as we have discussed, that the power can be made as coefficient, so it will be minus t times log 10q, okay? Base of 10 power of q. So that's how your equation should look like, okay, students? So that's how it makes sense now, and it's working very well. Now you can put the original equation in terms of this now. So that's what I'm going to do now in the black color, okay? So we have log 10x on one side, so this and this matches, okay? So these two are matching, and then you have 2.74 minus 0.079 t. So here we go. We will say that this will be 2.74 to the log 10, okay? So here we go. This will be 2.74 and minus 0.079 minus 0.079 times t, okay? So the exponent, the constant, the value, the coefficient with t will represent that, okay? So this is the equation, and that we have written is very clearly and correctly, okay, students? So let's work it out, what will be the answers and what are going to be the values as well. So here we go. Follow the highlighter very carefully. So you need to understand that log 10p will be equivalent to 2.74, okay? Hope everyone is getting it, students. Here, that's log, you are going to compare log 10p, log base of 10 power of p is equals to 2.74, and as we have discussed, that if you have to remove the base of log 10, you do both 10 power on both places, okay? And here we go, 10 power 2.74. So the p value should be definitely coming 10 times 2.10 power of 2.74. So here we go. The answer is coming as, students, I'm getting it as 549.5 408. So a lot of decimal values are coming. So let's see what the examiner is asking you to do. It is basically asking you the value of q to two significant figures. So let me highlight and put it in bracket. The value of to two significant figures. Okay, so if we need two significant figures, it definitely indicates that the p value is going to be 550. Okay, so p value is going to be 550. And what does p stands for? P stands for, basically, we discussed that T is the number of R, so P is the amount of the antibiotics, milligrams. So it's the 550 milligrams that is of the antibiotics that is being given to the patient. And then we got the P value. Then we have to find the Q value as well. So again, follow the highlighter, student, now that log 10Q is equivalent to 0.079. Okay, because T is equivalent to this, follow blue color, minus T is equivalent to this minus T, and log 10Q will be equivalent to 0.079. So here we go, log 10Q is equivalent to 0.079. so here you go, you work out again that Q value will be 10 to the power of 0.079, because if you have to make the basis same, so 10 power 0.079 gives me the answer as 1.199. So it can be reduced to, because two significant figures, it will be called, Q value will be called 1.2. Students, you can do in your calculator this. Hope everyone understands the key concept and understanding. The Q value is coming 1.2 and that is coming 550 milligrams. So you have got all the marks here, students, all 4 marks for the correct working. Okay, 550 milligrams and Q value is coming out as 1.2. Okay, hope everyone gets this. The basic P and Q values, constants to be found, given that the value of P to the nearest whole number and value of Q to, okay, one thing important, value of P should be given to the nearest whole number, so that's why 550 we did, and the value of Q to two significant figures, that was this value 1.2. Okay, so this part A is done. Hope everyone gets this. So let me just get it to your part A. Here we go. So part A in basically in a nutshell looks like this. Okay, moving forward for 1 mark, again they're always asking you with reference to the equation in part A, you have to interpret the value of the constant P. P is basically 550 milligrams. So this is the value of the constant. So it means when the TRs are 0, when the dose was not given, so when the TRs were 0, P is the amount of antibiotics in milligrams in the patient's bloodstream at the start. So make sure, let's write this answer here only, that P is from part B answer, that P is equals to 550 milligrams, that is mg, we can write mg, milligrams. Okay, 550 milligrams is the amount of antibiotics, it is the amount of antibiotics that the patient receive at time 0, because this is the value, it's the constant value when at the y-axis when x is 0. So it's the amount of antibiotics that the patient got in the bloodstream. Okay, the patient's bloodstream, patient's antibiotics in the patient bloodstream at time 0, that is basically at the start. You can write at time 0 or at the start. So this will be a proper answer to give to the examiner, students, which will give you full marks. Okay, for 1 mark as well. Any questions can be asked in the comment section as well from your instructor, students. I'm always available. Hope everyone is getting this lecture chapter, all the previous lectures as well. Part A is very simple. Again, you just have to do again and again these steps, follow the steps and you get the values. Okay, but what about the last part as well? That is basically the differentiation. Use calculus. Let's do for 3 marks part C as well. We have to use calculus to find to two significant figures the value of dx over dt when t is 5 when a different dose. So we have to basically, calculus means you have to differentiate, right? So when a different dose of the antibiotic is given to another patient, the values of x and t satisfies the equation. This is the x value. So we have to find the value of dx, that is x with respect to t, differentiation to two significant figures when t is 5. So let's just do it on a separate page. Okay, so here we go, part C, we are solving, students. Let's write down the equation. X is equals to 400 into 1.4 power minus t. So I'm going to explain you how do you differentiate dx over dt with the help of the book as well. And students need to understand that these are very important questions as well. How do you do the calculus in this type of question? Okay, So let me just give you a quick basic from here, that when you have y is equals to a power kx, that is how you differentiate, okay? A power kx, k times ln a. So this is what the differentiation will be applied here. So let's just work this out, okay? Follow very carefully. If y is equals to a times k power x, the differentiation of this is basically this thing copied as it is, and then you write down multiply by k times ln a, okay? So a times kx, you write down the function as it is, and k times ln a you multiply, okay students? So in our example, you need to understand that k is equals to -1, okay, and then x is equals to t, and then the a value is 1.4, okay? A value is 1.4. You can say like this as well. So here we go. When we are going to differentiate this, the answer is going to come, you write down the equation as it is first. So 400 into 1.4 power negative t, you're going to write this down first as it is, students, and then you'll say that multiply with k, that is -1, into the ln, the a value, the k value is -1 into the ln value. So here we go. This will be making it very clear that this is not dy over dx, this is dx, differentiation of x with respect to t. So the final answer is going to come, students, like this, that -400 times -1 will be -400 ln 1.4, -400 times ln 1.4 into 1.4 to the power of negative t. We'll practice more questions on this when we start differentiation, but this is because part of the question. So that is why I'm solving it. -400 ln 1.4 into 1.4 with power of negative t. So here we go, students. Back to the question, you just have to find the value of dx over dt when t is 5. If you got 2 marks for differentiation, and now just plug in the value of t as 5, okay? So here we go. I plug in the value of t as 5. So whatever the answer is going to come, that is going to be our answer, okay? So let's just put in the calculator. So t power, so -400 ln 1.4 and into 1.4 power of -5. So I'm getting the answer as -25.0247. I think they should mention it we have to give to 2 significant figures, which means our final answer will be -25, the differentiation of x with respect to t, and that will be the correct answer and end of this question as well of January 2022 WMA13 Edexcel paper. Hope students get this. Make sure to revise this concept. How do you differentiate? That is basically the function, you write it, whatever is written, you write it as it is, and the value of k multiplied with ln a, okay? That is what this tells as well. You write whatever it's written with k value of ln a, and that is how, students, this is solved in a nutshell, okay? This question, part A, part B, and part C as well, okay? Hope everyone gets this. Any questions can be asked in the comment section.